What is up, everyone? It's Alfred. I'm back with another video. Decided to do a recording today mainly because I won't be able to do a recording over the weekend. So yeah, here we go. We're gonna start off the session. Played like a few hands, and then yeah, I lost a pretty big pot where I should have folded the turn. Other than that, yeah, I think I'm down like $5 right now or something. We have a limp pot on board 2. With the ace, I'm just gonna be betting here. He could have a 10, honestly. Queen 5 against like someone who we feel is a wreck. Just gonna go for a half pot sizing here. And on board 2, I think I'm just gonna go for a small sizing here with the nuts. They'll have like a lot of overpairs here. Sometimes they'll have things like 8s, 7s, 8s that chose not to 3-bet. Gonna size up on the turn now. Want to be denying a lot of equity from these flush draws, and we can still get called by 8s, 9s. Messed up my sizing here a bit. I should have went to 9. I was trying to go to 9 big blinds, but yeah. Either way, I'm still gonna c-bet this board. And once the flush draw comes, we have a pretty nice bluff candidate here. This pretty natural barrel. He will have hands like 8s, 9s, 10s that will float the flop. Flopping the nuts on board 2. Now we're just gonna go for a bigger size bet. We do have a nittier player in the cutoff calling. Just something to keep in mind. But yeah, queens will just, middle set will just be a pure bet there. Looks like we're getting some action with aces. It's a pretty awkward spot here. 5 betting seems way too strong. I think I'm just going to be playing flats mostly here. Especially considering how deep we are, I don't think I'm ever going to be raising with anything that isn't aces. And on this kind of board, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to be betting small. Can even check back. Still betting small on the turn. I guess he can have 10s. But we can still get a lot of value from queens, jacks, kings. And we're not folding to this jam. He can easily have those overpairs. So it looks like we're back in the win column. Should be up a little bit now. Oh, we're up $8, surprisingly. Calling my suited ace, even though it's a fairly big open, 3 big blinds. He's going for a small sizing here, but even though we have 2 overcards, we can float sometimes considering how small the size is. It's just that I'm considering folding since we don't have a lot of backdoor equity. Flopping the nuts again. I think we flopped the nuts 3 times already. And not sure if I want to be bluffing with my ace high, since we do beat some of these high card hands. And we're just going to have a clear call on board too. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to bluff. We just win at showdown a lot of the time. So this is actually a terrible turn for us because it just kills all the action. Like, if he has a flush, we're just not stacking him anymore, which really sucks. And I'm going to be folding against this cold 4-bet. That's insanely big. On board 2, I'm just going to go for an overbet. Mainly because, like, I think that some players will just call to chop, you know? But that's kind of a pretty poor run out here. Getting a call from the small blind. Without the, I'm going to go for like a bigger bet here. Our jacks will need a lot of protection since he will be calling hands like a lot of ace X and of small blind. And will occasionally be calling these smaller pocket pairs. So I just think on the board, this has a flush draw. We're going to need some protection. With the queens, we're going to go for a squeeze. I'm going to get called and the flop is fairly dry, so going for a very small sizing will work. We can even induce some raises from hands like 9s, 10s. Even get calls from things as light as 9-10 with the backdoor flush draw, like 9-10 of clubs. Now we're going to size up. That way we're going to be setting up a size for a river jam. The 5s is going to be a fold most of the time. And we get a fold on board 2, on board 1. So yeah, I might be a bit rusty right now. I haven't been playing at all. I think the last time I played was like 6 days ago or something. Yeah, I've just been incredibly lazy. Yeah, when I get home, I'm just way too tired to play poker. But it's not like I haven't been keeping up with anything. I've been watching training videos and such. Gonna get min clicked by the big blind here and getting bet half pot. Generally, it's like aces here. I'm just gonna call the half pot though. He's gonna bet half pot again, and we're just gonna fold. Realistically, our 7s have no way of improving against something like aces, queens. We basically drawing to 2 outs and hoping he checks back the river. If he's doing that with like king queen suited, ace king off, like congratulations. Population wise, I just think it's a clear fold. Gonna play for around 10 more minutes. Gonna be betting with my top pair, backdoor flush draw. We can get calls from weaker 10s here. The king's not too alarming. Like, I guess he can float with like king queen. He is a weaker player, so he could have hands like king queen off. king jack, and he's gonna check back the king. I don't think he's ever checking back a king. I think I'm gonna go for value against a hand like queen 10 or a weaker 10 in general. Even 8s, 9s can be there. And it's something that's not expected, but he did have 8-4 suited, and he snap called us. So I'd make a note that this guy's just button clicking at this point. Yeah, I'll write that. Button clicker. And we can like value bet very light against this guy if he's calling us with, if he's snap calling us with third pair. This guy's 800 big blinds and 10-0. What in the world? He has 800 big blinds. Man, he must have been playing here in this pool for a while. I think the most I've ever gotten was 500 big blinds, and after that I was like, let's call it a day. I always end up rat holing when I'm not recording. It's mainly because I'm more studied in 100 big blind spots. When it gets deeper, I just have no clue what I'm doing half the time. I was gonna go for like a squeeze with the ace-5 suited. Let's see how this plays out. I'm surprised he squeezed somebody this short. Flopping top and bottom here. It still won't make a really... we still won't be check raising a lot. Interesting how this guy calls ace king, and this guy just snap jams his ace-6 suited. Blocking on board 1. Yeah, I'm not gonna check raise this board. Ace king queen's still very good for him. And looks like he's gonna win, which is pretty good for the game. I'm tempted to call here because they are weaker players. Mainly going to be playing a lot of checks on board 1. Sorry, I'm just drinking some water. And basically checking down my ace queen, hoping to see like king jack suited or something. It'll suck if he bets here, mainly because like it's never a bluff. I think he just realizes that he can value bet his 8s, 6s, 7s, 8s. But it's not like he's ever bluffing his it's not like he's ever bluffing king queen is what I'm saying. King jack. Maybe we can peel a decent amount of time with the jacks. And once he's betting big on the turn, we just fold. Maybe I should have considered calling here. Maybe doing some RNG. But I just don't think people are going to be bluffing this spot too much. I just think we're gonna run into something like 8s a lot of the time. This is a guy that we have as button clicker. So we're just gonna check. I don't think he's thinking much on what he's doing. I think he's calling with any pair. So in that sense, our hand just is very, we can't really bluff much against him. We always need some sort of pair. Considering how wide his range is, like I'm not worried at all. We're gonna win a lot of the time. This time he has 9 deuce. He's definitely not folding a gut shot. Considering like how the blinds look, I'm just gonna be opening threes, even though it's pretty bad. Hopefully we get a few more spots. We're just approaching the end of the video. I'm gonna go for a c-bet here with my pair open ender. And then I'll go over the hand that I folded. 7 is more of a low frequency call here, and sometimes 3-bet. This is just good for my range. He's gonna be in a weird spot with his ace king, king queen type of hands. So I'm just gonna bet big here. We will have a lot more 8s, 9s. Like his high cards will be in a pretty awkward spot here. Interesting check raise. It's really weird. He's basically saying he has 9s or 8s. Maybe even a flush draw. I'm not calling here even though we have a pair backdoor flush draw. I'm still calling. We still have a lot of implied odds here. We're even good against his flush draws. And now we're in this spot where we ISO with king jack suited. The board is very low connected. Pretty easy check fold against this kind of sizing. And with the 7s, I'm just trying to decide if we win enough. Because we're beating his, I think we're beating his bluffs, like his queen jack, jack 10, his flush draws. I'm just trying to think if we should be jamming and try to fold out his ace 5 of hearts. But I think we have like pretty good showdown value in a sense that we're beating his flush draws. That is a pretty weird check raise. Normally I'd 3-bet this, but yeah, against the 3.5x open, I'm going to be tighter and careful. Yeah, that was weird. Maybe I should have jammed. I just didn't expect hands like... the only hands I was really expecting to see was like king, queen of hearts. And with our hand here, we have a backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. Pretty natural bluff here. Yeah, but maybe we can even consider 3-betting the turn. Anyway, it just stems back to the fact that I called pre with sevens. Even though it's a good for a range, I think that these no equity hands just fall into the check fold category. Okay, we're just past the 20-minute mark. I'm gonna start sitting out. Hopefully, like, this play wasn't too bad. I'm gonna have to run it by some people. But everyone's just gonna say fold pre. I think we're gonna end the session maybe up like $1 or so. Pretty much rolling between a bet and a check here, but with this 7, I think I'm just betting. Snap called again. Pretty interesting hand here because we do block the 7s and the 8s. Still trying to deny equity from ace highs. And now we just have nice showdown value. If he shows like ace 10, I'm going to be tilted 5. So once again, somebody who's button clicking. And that should be it. Yeah, so yeah, we're actually up 50 big blinds. Yeah, we had a pretty bad slump here. Here's a hand where I should have just folded turn, just exploitatively. Yeah. So he has 9s. Yeah, here's how the hand played out. So he leads with his 9s into this hand. We can consider raising here, but the board's just way too dry. Then on the turn he goes for this check raise, like insanely huge raise, and I think we can just exploitatively fold here. Considering he's betting into 4 people, I think he just shows up with 7s, 4s here a lot of the time. And if you think about it, the only real bluff you can have here is like Jack 10 of hearts maybe, because like it's kind of weird that he will lead like a hand like Jack 10. So just very little bluffs here. Either way, I just ended up paying it off when this should be a fold on the turn anyways. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good one.